Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin has created one of the most important XRP questions in the market right now. If Ripple can move a regulated digital dollar on-chain, does XRP become less necessary? The surface answer sounds simple, but the architecture underneath is more precise than most of the debate suggests. A stable dollar can move across the ledger, but that still leaves a harder question underneath. What happens when the other side of the transaction does not simply need dollars? That distinction may decide whether people understand Ripple's system as a collection of products or as a routing machine for institutional money. RLUSD and XRP are being compared as if they are two versions of the same tool. That is where the comparison starts to break. Ripple's regulated stablecoin is a dollar-denominated asset, while XRP is the native asset of the XRP ledger and has historically been positioned around bridge liquidity and settlement efficiency. The confusion makes sense. If a stablecoin can move across a blockchain in seconds, it is reasonable for XRP holders to ask what XRP still does. That question is not fear by itself. It is the right question asked in the wrong frame. Replacement is the tempting frame because it gives the argument a simple winner and loser. But institutions do not start there. They start with a more practical question. What kind of transaction is this, and what has to happen before it is actually settled? That is where the debate gets shallow. It tries to answer the XRP question before separating the jobs inside the transaction. The story is really about Ripple's stable dollar and XRP inside a broader institutional payment architecture. One gives institutions a stable unit they can hold, account for, settle with, and redeem. The other becomes relevant when value has to change form across markets. Ripple describes RLUSD as a fiat-backed stablecoin, supported one-to-one by US dollar deposits, US treasuries, and cash equivalents held in reserve. Ripple also publishes reserve information and monthly attestations. That matters because institutions do not treat a stablecoin like a meme token. They care about issuer structure, redemption, reserve backing, compliance, and operational predictability. That is the first clue. Ripple's stablecoin is not entering the stack as a second version of XRP. It is entering as dollar value institutions can actually account for and settle with. If a payment company needs to settle a dollar obligation, Ripple's stablecoin may be the cleanest instrument. The split starts to matter here. RLUSD solves the stability problem. It does not automatically solve every liquidity problem. XRP is not trying to be a dollar. That sounds obvious, but it is where many arguments go wrong. A stablecoin represents a unit of value. A bridge asset helps transform value when two sides of a transaction do not naturally meet. Consider a simple dollar settlement. A U.S. institution pays another U.S. institution in digital dollars. If both sides want dollar exposure, the route is straightforward. There may be no reason for XRP to appear in that flow. Now change the route. A company begins with dollars, but the receiver needs a local currency, like Mexican pesos or Philippine pesos. Or liquidity exists in one asset pair, but not in the direct pair the transaction needs. The problem is no longer just moving a stable unit. The problem is conversion. The XRP ledger was built with native exchange and pathfinding concepts that allow assets to move through available liquidity. XRP can function as an intermediary when that path is more efficient than a direct market. It is not magic, and it is not guaranteed in every transaction. A cleaner mental model is this. XRP is one of the assets the system can use when two markets do not connect cleanly on their own. The most important clue is not hidden in speculation. It is in Ripple's own framing. Ripple has described RLUSD as additive and complementary to XRP, while also saying that in major currency corridors with high liquidity, where XRP is not required as a bridge asset, RLUSD can still deliver speed, transparency, and cost benefits. That one detail changes the shape of the question. It does not support the easy claim that every stablecoin transaction creates XRP demand. It points to something more conditional. Different corridors can require different routes. A skeptic could stop right there and say, RLUSD weakens XRP. In certain simple flows, that may be partly true. If a corridor is already liquid, dollar-based, and easy to settle with a stablecoin, XRP may not be necessary for that specific transaction. But that is not the same as replacement. It is classification. Institutions do not use a bridge asset when they do not need a bridge. They use it when direct liquidity is inefficient, expensive, fragmented, or unavailable. Ripple's own payment architecture points toward route selection rather than single asset dependence. Ripple describes payment flows where fiat can be tokenized into a stablecoin or converted into a cryptocurrency, such as XRP, before moving across blockchain rails and settling on the other side. The important word is "or." That means the system is not built around a mandatory XRP tunnel. It is built around choosing the instrument that fits the payment. In some cases, that instrument may be Ripple's stable dollar. In other cases, it may be XRP. For a payment company, this becomes a best execution problem, but not necessarily a fully automatic one. The route that wins is the one that meets the corridor's rules, risk limits, liquidity needs, and receiver requirements with the least friction. If Ripple's stable dollar is the cleanest path, the system should use it. If direct liquidity is thin and XRP produces better execution, the bridge asset earns the route. At that point, the XRP question changes. The issue is no longer whether Ripple's stablecoin kills XRP. The issue is how Ripple's architecture decides which asset belongs in which leg of the transaction. XRP becomes useful where the system needs transformation, not just transmission. A stable dollar can move a dollar from one place to another, but it does not automatically create a liquid market against every currency, tokenized asset, or regional payment rail. The XRP ledger's design matters here because cross-currency payments can use paths through available liquidity. Those paths can move through offers, automated market maker pools, and intermediate assets. XRP can be used as the bridge when it improves the route. Imagine a corridor where a business has dollar liquidity, but the recipient needs a local currency where direct stablecoin liquidity is thin. The stablecoin solves the dollar entry. It gives the sender a clean on-chain dollar unit. But if the receiver cannot efficiently use that dollar unit, the system still needs conversion. Even the word stablecoin can hide fragmentation. RLUSD, USDC, USDT, PYUSD, tokenized deposits, and foreign currency stablecoins may all represent stable value, but they do not automatically share the same issuer risk, redemption rights, compliance rules, or trading depth. As tokenized assets multiply, the number of possible markets can grow faster than reliable liquidity appears. That conversion is where XRP may compete as a bridge asset, not because it is forced into the transaction, but because a neutral liquid asset can sometimes reduce the number of steps, lower spread, or connect markets that do not trade deeply against each other. The strongest evidence that RLUSD is more than a retail stablecoin story is where it is starting to appear. Ripple announced a collaboration with MasterCard, WebBank, and Gemini to explore RLUSD on the XRP ledger for stablecoin settlement of fiat card transactions tied to the Gemini credit card, subject to the required approvals and onboarding. That example matters because it is not an XRP bridge claim. It is a stablecoin settlement example. It shows how Ripple's regulated stable dollar can be used inside traditional payment workflows without pretending that every settlement leg automatically requires XRP. The Securitize integration adds another layer. Ripple and Securitize announced functionality allowing holders of BlackRock's BUIDL and VanEck's VBILL tokenized funds to exchange shares for RLUSD, creating an additional stablecoin off-ramp for tokenized short-term treasury fund exposure. That signal moves the discussion beyond payments. Ripple's stable dollar can become an exit point for tokenized assets, but the moment value exits into a stable unit, the next layer of the system appears. Where does that value need to go next? The correction is not that RLUSD is secretly XRP in another form. It is not that every RLUSD transaction must feed XRP. And it is not that XRP becomes irrelevant, because Ripple now has a regulated stablecoin. RLUSD makes dollar value stable and usable on-chain. XRP matters when value has to cross a gap between currencies, assets, venues, or liquidity pools. Those are different jobs inside the same broader system. Some routes will not need XRP. That should not be treated as a failure. It is exactly how efficient infrastructure should work. The system should not use a bridge when a direct route is already clean, liquid, and compliant. But when the route is not clean, when the receiver does not need dollars, when the direct market is thin, or when tokenized value has to move into another form, the bridge question comes back. So RLUSD does not replace XRP. It puts XRP into a clearer market test. XRP does not need to move every dollar or appear in every transaction. It needs to provide bridge liquidity where the route requires transformation and where the market chooses XRP because it is the better path. That is the architecture the retail debate keeps missing. Ripple's stable dollar is not the end of the XRP story. It is one more layer that makes the system more specific, more institutional, and easier to test in the real world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next deep dive. This channel is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and is not financial advice. Always do your own research and keep the discussion respectful. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, subscribing, leaving a comment, or sharing it with a friend.